Hey everyone, Nostalgiasty here once again. I know it's been a while, but I've been quite busy this year, and I don't expect next year to be much different. But I discovered a couple of years or so ago this amazing website slash app. I'm currently on it on desktop right now, as you can see. It's called Hoopla. It's basically a digital library. You put in your library card details, like your number, PIN, and everything, and you can use your library card to access Hoopla, and you can borrow all these ebooks, and you can use them, like you can read them on your phone or your tablet or computer, whatever device you have, you can use Hoopla on, and it's amazing. I want to make it clear I'm not being sponsored by Hoopla. It'd be nice, but no, I genuinely love this app slash website. So there are a lot of books I haven't read for a long time, including the Babysitter's Little Sister series by Anne M. Martin. You may have heard of the Babysitter's Club, but there was like a spin-off of that that was for younger readers like me. I remember when I was a kid, my older sister, had the Babysitter's Club series, and my mom told me, I think those books are a little too old for you. So she suggested this series instead, and I read it, and I didn't read all of the books. There were a lot of them that either didn't interest me as much or that my library didn't have, because back then, it was the early 2000s. I don't think Hoopla existed back then. So I used the physical library and whatever it had to offer. So I haven't read these books in forever. I see they've got some new illustrations just for the first 10. And after that, on Hoopla, they go back to the old-fashioned classic illustrations. Yeah. I mean, I haven't checked out any of the ones with the new covers, so I don't know if they have new illustrations inside or if they're the same. But yeah, so I haven't read these in ages. There were a lot that I didn't get to read, as I said, so I'm really excited to probably go through all of these and just read all of them. The only issue is I can only borrow up to 10 books a month from Hoopla, and I usually don't max out my borrows because I usually use Hoopla to read on my phone at work during break, and I tend to read physical books at home. So I've just been kind of reading more than one book at a time and just reading on my break at work. And with that, I usually like a regular sized adult novel, I can usually get through in maybe a week, sometimes a little bit longer, reading it just for an hour a day at work. So I usually don't max out my borrows, but these books, I did read one of them. Let me just scroll all the way down to number 100. Oh, it's going to be on another page, but number 111. Let me just see. It's going to be on the last page then, I guess. Some of these later books I did read, like I remember Karen's Paper Route. I called these the Karen books. I didn't call them the Babysitter's Little Sister series. But anyway, number 111, Karen's Spy Mystery, was that was one of my favorites, and it actually got me into a hobby. See, in the book, let me just open this in a new tab. In the book, Karen is spying on her neighbor's house sitter, and I don't know if it says that she writes down everything she sees him do. Yeah, it doesn't say that, but she does. And after I read that book, I started singling out somebody. Like, it could be at home, it could be at church. I would just choose somebody and watch them and write down everything they did. And I called my writings reports. And I wrote reports all the time on just random people. Like, I would write down the most mundane thing, like, oh, they picked up a pen, they sniffed, they're looking this way, they're looking that way. And I kept doing that into my early adolescence, and then later on in my adolescence, since we had moved and my social circle was different and influences and stuff were different, I started just writing random nonsense that I came up with as reports. Like, I would just think of the most random, hilarious, nonsensical stuff and just cobble it all together in what I called a report, and I got a friend to do it as well. So I did that for years and years because of this book. But like I said, there are a lot I didn't get to read. Ooh, I remember Karen's Hurricane. That was a good one. Yeah, a lot of gaps, a lot of ones that maybe I did read but don't remember as much. So yeah, basically that, and the actual Babysitters Club is on here as well. And like I said, my mom thought it was too old for me, so I never got to read it. Well, now I am, believe it or not, 30 years old. So I think I'm old enough to read the Babysitters Club now. I guess it was for teenagers or older kids. I was actually just about Karen's age when I started reading these books, and I thought it was so cool that we were the same age. But yeah, I can definitely use these to max out my Hoopla borrows. I read one, Karen's Spy Mystery. I reread that one because of the nostalgia, and I got through it in maybe 45 minutes. So these are not going to take me very long to read at all. So yeah, I'm really excited to relive this part of my childhood and not have to like buy anything. I maybe should check my physical library. I do live within walking distance of a physical library now, which is amazing. But so yeah, I might see if they have physical copies as well if I want to read more of them. But yeah, I mean, Hoopla is such a great resource. If there are books, especially popular books like these that you used to read when you were a kid and you haven't read in a while and you want to read them again, and like if you don't want to spend money on them, if you don't have your own copy, you know, Hoopla is a really great and convenient way to read them. And there's also Libby and a bunch of other apps I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are so many e-reader apps that are completely free. So I would recommend you check out Hoopla, Libby, etc. Ooh, Karen's Accident, I remember that one as well. Yeah, I'm excited to read all of these. So yeah, I just wanted to put this little update on my YouTube channel.